Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So today I was thinking that I'm going to segregate this arrangement because it's been long that it has been in this pot and they are kind of getting congested with each other. I have taken out a lot of the dry leaves. You can see the amount of dry leaves and this is just like 1%. I still have a lot of it inside. I have to clear it up. You can see the amount of dry leaves, and even the succulent has started to stretch, most probably because it's not getting a lot of light. You can see this is the stretching. The center one is okay, but the side ones are slightly getting stretched, and there is my Olivia as well that I wanted to separate. So I thought that I'm going to just take out all of these succulents and then probably plant them separately and then separate the Olivia, because the Olivia is getting congested a lot. As you can see, it's hardly visible in it. So I'm going to try and remove each one. Now the most important part why I'm trying to separate is because they are not having much of space. The pot is also looking quite small, so I'm going to quickly separate them. It is little difficult to take it out because they are completely rooted in this, so I have to be extremely careful. So first I'm going to check if there are any mealybugs or anything. You can see the leaves also are starting to fall apart because it's getting stretched a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely take them out and separate them from this container, because they are also getting stretched. There is not much space, so it's turning into a mess. That's the reason why, as I said, always try to keep enough space in between each of the succulent. Otherwise this is how it's going to turn up. The arrangement starts to get compact in a very short period of time, so ensure that you leave enough space. Even though I had left a lot of space in between, if you might have seen the earlier video, I'll put the link in the description below. But then even then you can see within a couple of months they have kind of overgrown in this pot. So let me quickly disassemble everything and get back to you. So it's kind of messy, but you can see now again guys, always whenever you're doing this, whenever you are moving your arrangement or when you are trying to change the arrangement, ensure that all of the soil inside the pot is completely bone dry. You do not want to do this on a wet soil. So you can see all of my soil is completely bone dry, and that is only when I am trying to separate them. So this is how I will individually take them out. There is going to be a lot of soil spill, so I'm going to take them out individually, try to clear up the root ball. You can see the soil is completely bone dry, and all of the sand has completely fixed around the root ball. It is very healthy. You can see the soil is very loose, very porous. With by just shaking them, all of the soil is getting loosened from the roots, and this is how the roots tend to look like. So this is how the soil has to be. It has to be very loose, porous. You can see with the just slightest shake, the soil tends to fall out. So that is how loose the soil has to be. It shouldn't get very compact around the root ball. You can see this is the first one. Again over here, as you can see, with the slightest touch, the soil just tends to fall apart. And you can see how they were smashed. You can see how the roots were smashed against the pot. So it was a long due pot that I had to separate. So even this one is completely cleared off. You can see the roots. They are all healthy, very fibrous kind of roots. So I'm going to separate them all. Even this one. You can see this marking. This was all. You can see this marking. This was all because it was pushed against the pot and they did not have much room to grow. And with the slightest touch, the soil tends to fall aside. And even the leaves also are falling because you can see they were completely stretched, not in a proper angle. You can see the crown area is also not in a very good shape. The leaves are also not in a very good shape. This is because of lack of light, lack of space, etc, etc. So I'm going to clear off all of these. Now this is the most important one that I was looking out for, my Olivia. So I'm going to separate the Olivia. The Olivia were very small little pups that I had tucked in, and they're not very big yet. They're very small, but I think I should keep them in an individual pot because they are already doing quite well. You can see, let me clear off the dust. You can see a lot of new white roots. All of these are the new roots. You can see they are growing very well. This is the original root. You can see it is also doing quite well. So I will take out the last one as well. And this is the same soil mix that I had used, the grey sand with garden soil. And you can see how they have pushed against the pot It has got the markings of the pot as well, so we will clear up this. And after this, what I have to do is I have to clear off all of those dry leaves. I have to clear up all of those. Luckily, there are no mealybugs. I haven't seen any mealybugs. I haven't seen any ants. Luckily, everything looks very fresh. But a lot of leaves are falling off because they were lacking light. Nevertheless, we can store these leaves. All of these leaves that have been fallen from the mother plant will be kept for propagation. So these are all of the leaves. Now we are completely done. You can see the soil is very loose. It's still very loose, very porous. So this is the type of soil mix you want to have for your succulents. It's still very loose, very porous. Lot of soil, so a lot of cleaning to be done. So these are all, this was the titubans. Again, you can see the titubans is not in its best condition. You can see there's a lot of stretching. Whenever you notice that the leaf formation is not correct, that ideally is a sign that your succulent is not getting enough light. They do not have a very uniformed look. You might have seen my other titubans as well, which are very compact and in a nice symmetrical shape, but this you can see it's not in a very best shape. So this is one of the signs that they were lacking light. Now none of them luckily have any mealybugs, so I'm quite relieved with that. So these are all of them. Now basically there were some leaves that fell down, which means that there has been an open cut. So I have to basically let them dry. I have to keep them in a dry place for at least 2 to 3 days, and probably after that I will repot them. Now this time I'm going to repot them in individual pots. If I have the option, I will definitely keep you guys updated. I will definitely make a video on it. But so far this is how it looks like. You can see the amount of dry leaves. Now these could have easily become the housing ground for a lot of mealybugs, but luckily there were no mealybugs. I'm so relieved because probably I have been using a little bit of cinnamon powder in the soil every now and then, so probably that could also be the reason. These are some fresh leaves which I'm going to keep aside. These are the succulents. These were some more leaves of the titubans which I'm going to keep aside, and this is my Olivia, Graptoveria Olivia, which I will again put it in another separate pot. Most probably I will separate it. And this is my Graptoveria Olivia, which I will separate. I'm going to have the same method, the recent video that you might have seen, separating them in between with the roots on both the pups. So that's what I'm going to do, and then separately pot them. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.